You're all nourished, hydrated, caffeinated, all those good things, and you're ready for session number 3 of the Social Marketing and Recruiting Bootcamp Live. Excited to be with you. So in the comment section below, I want to know what you guys did. Let me know what you were able to do, how many conversations you were able to start with people. I want to see who our rock stars are. This is really exciting to me. I want to know who did their Facebook Live and didn't even care. They just didn't even care. Bad hair day, don't care. And they just went live.
Bad hair, don't care.
And let me know that you can hear us clearly. I'm excited for the afternoon session. We were reviewing just the building blocks of everything, and we're really excited to get into one of the most powerful things that I think we have utilized in our business to provide us with the ultimate leverage. Okay, so Monica, I did my live and did 18 conversations.
Noise.
Monica, that's beast mode. I love it.
Stephanie signed up a new business partner.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Stephanie, I did my Facebook Live and connected with 5 more people. That's pretty bad to the bone. Congratulations, Stephanie. I loved it. Luis, signed up a new brand partner. Get out of town. Really? That's amazing. I love it. Versus with no makeup or hair done, had technical difficulties. I didn't get response yet, but you did it anyways, right? I love it. Good. Oh my gosh, this is cool. Jane connected with 6 folks and 3 a.m. continuing the conversation. No excuses. I know we've got internationals, right? So,
wow.
I know, right? Bad hair day, no makeup, and for some reason the sound didn't work. That's again practicing. It's good to know we're not the only ones getting massive technology problems, right? We're all in the same boat together. That kind of feels a little bit better. So congratulations, all of you guys, for chiming in and letting us know what you guys have been able to do. This is the main juice of the boot camp, right? Is actually taking the time to implement what it is that we're walking you through as building blocks. You guys, you know, we're going to make sure that we tie it all together. So all of the things that we are training on kind of are building blocks on top of each other. So right now, we're going to dive even more into what to post on social media to get business interactions happening. But really what's happening is we're making sure that we're, you know, getting the conversation started. And then the next part of getting the conversation started, doing the marketing and then getting the people, getting the conversation started. The next building block is knowing what to do with the people that you're starting these conversations with. And I want to just share before John comes in, and John's going to do a really crazy, awesome power session on something that we call our ATM strategy. And even if you know about the ATM strategy already, this is kind of going to be an advanced version of the ATM strategy. So you really want to pay attention even if you think that you have heard it before, because there are some nuances and some little things that you can inject into the ATM strategy to make it work even better for you. I know for me, and we'll tell you what the ATM strategy is. If you don't know what that means yet, that's fine. We're going to go over that. But with part of what this strategy is allowed for me and my business is ultimate leverage and duplication. I've never seen our team duplicate as fast and as in such a powerful, fast, efficient way as having the system in place, and also leverage, massive leverage for me, because like I was saying before, you guys, I used to have to do 45+ minute 3-way calls or conversations with people on the phone, talk to them about, you know, and they're wondering, does this even work? Really, there's so much social proof and power in this presentation strategy. So ATM is a strategy that we refer to presenting and getting the information about your product, service, or business in front of your prospects. And so there's different facets of it and different things that we've learned along the way using it for many, many years in our business now. So what I want you guys to do in this session, make sure that you're ready to take some notes. We have the downloads ready for you guys too. that are getting uploaded if they're not already, I think they're already in there in the units section for the ATM strategy. You're going to want to print out the scripts. You're going to want to use them as well, along with the strategy that John's going to train on. So, and then just instruct me on, the slides as well, because I'm going to be manning those for you too. But actually, I just want to say I'm grateful for learning the ATM strategy actually from John and Nadia, because without them, I would not have known the strategy and had ultimate function in my business. So you guys pay attention and take some notes.
Yeah, it's going to be off the hook. I'm really excited. And I know some of you had questions about the replay. Some of you didn't get the replay option. And I know we wanted to mention that. So if you wanted lifetime access to the training that you're getting, I'm sure we would all agree that the value is already incredibly invaluable. And we're just getting started. I mean, we're only through the first half of the first day, and we still have all day tomorrow. And then you've got the rest of the documents that are going to be uploaded into Unit 1. Long story short, the link for that, I believe, will be posted. But Tanya, also, if you want to maybe share that, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, we'll put it in the announcements, Barry. We'll have our support team throw it in the announcement section, so you might want to make a good idea note or implement ASAP note to get the recordings if that's something that you guys want to do.
Yes, yes. And I'm just really excited because I think this is going to be an important conversation for all of you. And I see so many of you are having breakthroughs, aha moments. I know a lot of you are, doing your first video, you're doing your why video, you're putting out posts, you're reaching out to people. And I think it's such a great time for all of you to really maximize the fact that people are at home right now. Laura says, someone just told me they didn't have $500 to invest in a business because they're broke. And it's interesting because I think right now you're going to get a lot of people that are concerned about their financial situation. They're concerned about, the economy and different things. Maybe they lost their job. But when someone says they don't have the money, or someone says, right now it's not a great time, or they're afraid because of their job, I think that's all the more reason for them to get started. And throughout the rest of today, we're going to talk about ATM. We're going to talk about how to do group chats. We're going to talk about follow-up and close. We'll help you with some of the objections that you're getting, some of the questions you're getting, how to overcome them. I know Tanya talked a little bit about that, actually using stories. And, as Nadia would say, she would refer to it as removing the stick out of your butt. And sometimes we just got to have fun, right? That's really what that means, and not to be so stiff and so uptight and, so businessy, right? Sometimes when we're a little too businessy, it can actually turn people off because they feel pressured, or they feel like you're just trying to make a buck, or you're trying to sell them. So we really got to remember, people buy and join based on emotion, based on feeling, and then they justify later with logic. So the big purpose of the ATM system, and I love that Tanya pointed this out, because Tanya could go anywhere and crush it. How many of us would agree with that? Would you agree that, she could go to any network marketing business and have success, but who cares if I'm making money, or Tanya's making money, or, a leader's making money if their whole team is broke, or it's a ton of work, right? If it's a ton of work and it's super hard, super complicated, and it's hard to create duplication, what's exciting about that? Like, I don't really feel like I'm winning if I have to work really, 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 really hard to win, to make money. So the ATM system is like a 24/7 cash machine, kind of like an ATM where you get cash, you withdraw cash from the ATM, right? So that was kind of the play on words, add tag message. Your ATM groups, for some of you, it's going to take a little time to build them up, to make it so that it's exciting, so that they're effective. But eventually, the whole purpose of the ATM system is that you have a Facebook community, a private community, where people are able to add their prospects to the group to learn more about the products, learn more about the company, essentially close business, because there's stories, there's content that gives them the information they're looking for. It gives them the education, the information, so they can make a buying decision. And the beauty of it is that it's 24/7. It's like, how some companies, they do like weekly meetings or weekly Zooms where they promote the business, they close business. This is like 24/7, right? Because if you have a really good opportunity video or really good product testimonials, Those are in there. So people are literally, like in some of our ATM groups, people are literally getting tagged in posts, videos, before and after pictures from 2, 3, 4 years ago. Think about how powerful that is. That someone shares a testimonial today that's helping drive sales, drive volume months and even years from now. Super powerful. So the ATM system essentially is a system that's for online duplication, all right? And we'll pull the slides up just so you can follow along. But really the ACE system, right? The ATM system works if you do it right. So we're going to talk about how to set it up the right way. You know, here's some awesome testimonials. So we're giving you testimonials right now on the value of the ATM system, just like you'll have testimonials promoting your company and products inside of your ATM groups. So Mandy says, I just did my month-end review and my team added 121 new members this month. We grew 45% in just 1 month. Hashtag ATM for life. Holly says ATM system is the way. 12 new customers in 3 days using this strategy. Lynette says, my husband and I were able to welcome 5 new teammates into our business, and we also qualified for a recruiting bonus you weren't even aware of. And the beauty is they didn't have to do 45-minute presentations like Tanya talked about. They didn't have to go do home presentations. How many of you used to do, or maybe you still do, home parties, home meetings, PBRs? Nadia and I used to do PBRs every night, private business receptions. It was exhausting. And the truth is, even if we were having success doing it, we were out every night. We were away from our kids. I started feeling like a bad dad. So I can tell you, ever since creating this ATM system, I think we first launched our ATM group in March of 2016. Maybe it was April of 2016. We had no idea if it was going to work. We were just going to test this out with our company. And since then, we've done over $100 million in sales, all on social media, without freeway calls, without home parties. You know, we're like number 88 in the world in all of network marketing as far as income earners, making 6 figures a month. We started making 6 figures a month back in February 2017. We've made over 6 figures a month every single month since then. And our organization has acquired over 300,000 new customers in the last 36 months. That's the power of this system. And more importantly, those of you that are leaders, you can build a smaller team and you can make more money. And most of your team will be making money if you follow this protocol. I also would like to point out that we've had the #1 team in our company 3 years in a row. So what that tells you is this isn't just working for us. Who cares if I'm making a bunch of money or Tanya's making a bunch of money if our team is broke, if our team isn't winning? Isn't that what it's all about? Right? It's all about helping other people. So this ad tag message formula, let me just show you what it looks like, okay? Because I want to start with basics, even if some of you already have. In fact, drop into the comments and let me know if you're already doing the ATM system in your company. How many of you have never heard of the ATM system? I'll try to comb through some of the comments here in a little bit, but ad tag message is what it stands for. Essentially, when you generate a lead and you turn that lead into a prospect, right? They're actually interested in more information. They express interest. The next step is to get them in this private Facebook group, a private community, so that they can learn more about the company. So instead of inviting them to a home meeting, you're inviting them to the group. Instead of doing a 3-way call, you're getting them in the group. Instead of, hey, let's get together at Starbucks, let's do a Zoom call and I'll explain everything. We let the groups do the selling and telling. You want to have what's called a pinned post. Essentially, it's the same thing as we're doing with this video right now. This video is in the announcements post section of the group, right? So that's where your pinned post, your welcome post would be, where you'll have like an introduction to the group, kind of the purpose of the group, maybe a couple videos or whatever. And then the message part is you send them a follow-up message through Messenger. That's where you close business. Now, I will tell you, I do get on the phone still today with personal recruits when they request it. When someone just really wants to get on the phone with me, I will do it. I have some leaders, they never get on the phone with anyone ever, all right? So it's your choice. Sometimes for me, I do like to build a little connection. You know, I know Erin Birch is probably on here. She likes to do a 5-minute discovery call, you know, on Facebook Messenger. She'll call someone right there on Messenger, do a 5-minute call, point them towards the tools. Sometimes, you know, I know leaders, they get hung up on three-way calls. We do no three-way calls. We do everything through Messenger. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but let's talk about the first part, which is attracting interested prospects. And we kind of already touched on this today, but essentially the 3DW Facebook Live launch formula, the why, the what, the wow, that's helping create intrigue, right? You're the preview to the movie. Don't ruin the movie. Give them just enough so they're wanting more. Curiosity posts, right? You could do curiosity posts geared towards the product or the business. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Telling stories, also using Instagram and Facebook stories, Facebook Lives. You're attracting people by sharing value, by providing content that's helping people, all right? Daily active connecting. Like we talked about, you're a professional conversation starter. You need to get that into your daily routine. If you're not talking to 5, 10, 15 new people every day, you're really not networking. And we're network marketers, baby. We got to network. We got to build a network. We want to market our products to the network, right? It's interesting how many network marketers are great at selling, telling, pitching, spamming, but they don't learn how to market and they don't learn how to network. It's network marketing, not network marketing. I'm sure some of us have heard that old network marketing joke. Now, the Facebook private group. We do encourage you to have 2 different types of ATM groups, one for product promotion, one for business promotion. Why? Because the people interested in the products don't always want to look at a business or see anything about the business. They don't care about your comp plan, your car program. They just want to lose weight or use your product, whatever your product is. I know we got people selling oils and makeup and financial services, all these different things. So it makes sense to keep the group separate. Now, could you have one group that promotes the business and the products? Because it is in some ways less work. You could do that. I have people, you know, we have students, clients, people on our team that use one group to expose people to the product and the business. I think it's better if you're just setting it up to have 2 separate groups, because one can really help you get customers. And part of what the FTC doesn't like, because I was in a company called VEMA. They were shut down by the Federal Trade Commission. The reason they were shut down, we didn't have enough customers. They looked at it like a glorified pyramid scheme. Now, the company did go to court and they won, you know, to some extent they won, but it took 18 months. They finally opened back up. They were decimated. And I see this happening in the industry. More and more companies are getting targeted. So if all you're doing, I want to be very clear about this. If all you're doing is promoting all the people joining your downline and joining your team and all the new people that are in your business, and you're not talking about product and you're not talking about customers, I'm just telling you, there is a possibility that you get in trouble with the FTC. And believe me when I tell you, you want to change that up real quick. Plus, here's what I found in my 18 years. Because I used to do heavy recruitment. I bet you, Tanya, probably the same thing, where we were trained, you lead with the business, and when someone says no, you get them as a customer. What I can tell you, and like I said, we sold over $100 million in the last 3 years. Our organization has had more success helping the average person create supplemental income, part-time, from home, leading with the product. Now, that doesn't mean they don't talk about the business. It just means when they're brand new, they focused on the product. They focused on acquiring customers. Think about it. If you started a restaurant, would you try to get other people to start a restaurant, or would you try to get customers to come eat at your restaurant? Common sense would tell you, when you start a new business, the first thing you're looking for are clients, customers. You're looking for people to come buy your stuff. You're not looking to find business partners and recruit other people to sell the same thing you're selling when you haven't even made a sale. So focus on the product, and this is why we keep the group separate. Again, it's your prerogative. It's just a suggestion. The other thing is it creates massive social proof. Once the group gets really big and you have enough people using it, like anything else, it's going to take time to build it up. But eventually, you're just collecting all these testimonials, and facts tell, stories sell. You heard that today. You can do recognition. You can share results. You can give shout outs. You can do interviews, promotions. It's literally the perfect drip campaign. And I want to show you. And also, again, in Unit 1, we're going to have a document on how to set up an ATM group, a 3DW launch, scripts, everything you need. So just a heads up on that. Because I know people sometimes are like, oh my gosh, there's so much good information. I need it all. We have it all structured in the PDFs, but the training coupled with it is going to help you immensely. So let's talk about the announcements post. All right, that pinned post. I wish they kept it as pinned post. I don't like the word announcement as much, but whatever, it's Facebook. We gotta do what they want us to do. So this announcements post is typically where you're gonna pin your best stuff, your most relevant content. So for instance, a lot of times people will say, well, what are your top selling products? Or how's the comp plan work? How many of us have heard these types of questions when people are interested and they're kind of on the fence? You could have all your videos, your most important videos, your most viewed content in the pin post, the announcements post, and you could almost make it like a funnel, right? How many of us realize there's like internet marketers that use their email funnel, right, where they capture leads and then, eventually through their free content, they get people into, buying their stuff. That's how a lot of you are in this program right now. You're in this program because you probably came across one of my videos, Nadia's videos, Tanya's videos, Kathy and Jordan or Tanya or Marina or Tanya, right? Michelle, Kimberly, some of them that have been promoting this, Bernie, Kate. You saw their free content, you started following them. Think of most of the people you follow right now. You originally followed them and then opted into their email. So that's a funnel. This is a funnel that anybody can set up. You don't have to have fancy equipment, technology. You don't have to be an internet marketing guru. You just set up a group where you have this introduction post, and you're gonna fine tune it over time. But in the beginning, man, this is where you're adding every prospect and tagging them so they can start off in the group getting the most important information to help them make a buying decision. And let's give you some examples of what this can look like. So in a product group, obviously you could have your customers share before and after pictures. I want to also point this out if you're making notes. The group's purpose is to help you sell product. So yeah, you can do promotions and giveaways and live videos, all these things, but customer service stuff does not need to be, meaning if people are asking lots of questions, I wouldn't approve those posts. Those should be pointed towards a marketer, the person that added them to the group, customer service. Sometimes, like back in the day, we used to just have people just asking anything, posting anything, and it just caused a lot of confusion for the purpose of the group. It almost became like a customer support group, and that's not the purpose. The purpose of the group is to help you and your team acquire customers. So you want positivity, you want testimonials, before and afters, all that stuff. Obviously, these are weight loss examples. A lot of MLMs sell weight loss, but whatever you're selling, whatever your product does, the benefits, that's what should be highlighted in the group. In the business group, you could do interviews of people that are building the business. You could do rank advancements, shout outs, recognizing people that are crushing it. Why? Because when you say, oh my gosh, let's all welcome Susie to the team. She's a school teacher. She's just getting started. She's really excited to supplement her income through the summer, right? So now anybody that has a school teacher might see that post and be like, wow, I can relate to Susie. Let's say Susie starts rank advancing and acquiring her first few customers. You recognize, make note of this, you recognize what you want repeated. So by giving shout outs to Susie for getting her first few customers and, following the system, I'll do this also in my team Facebook group. So you can do it there as well. But shout outs, recognition, welcome to the team, interviews, all of that can be done inside of your business community, helping you close more business, meaning recruit more people into your business, right? So that's the purpose of the two groups, right? You got one group for the purpose of getting customers. The other group is for the purpose of building a team. Now, there are scripts in Unit 1. You'll see scripts on leading with the product, promoting skincare or weight loss or recruiting people, promoting the business. Obviously, you can't create a script for every type of product out there, but we just want to give you kind of a blueprint. Some of you might be selling different types of products, so you can tweak these scripts, but these are scripts that have been tested and proven. All right, leading with the business, talking about, hey, I found a way to make money on Facebook. OMG, you got to see this thing. It's crazy exciting. Here's why I'm doing it. Write this down. Whether you're leading with the business, you're leading with the product. Talk about why you're doing it. But remember, people care more about what's in it for me. The reason you talk about why you're doing it or why you're excited about the product or business is because people will then immediately become selfish and think about their own selfish desires to lose weight, look younger, feel better, alleviate anxiety, make more money, supplement their income, pay off their debt, retire their spouse, live longer, feel better. You get it? Save money. What's up, baby? I see you over there checking me out. All right. So here's a really great script that I've been using, and I think it's powerful. Now, I'd also like to point out that sometimes we create scripts, but not for the purpose of you copy and pasting, because then you sound robotic and you don't sound like yourself. So make sure if like some of this doesn't sound natural to you, you tweak it so that it sounds more natural. But I'll tell you this, and I don't know if we talked about this yet. Tanya probably mentioned it. But use the audio clip. Use the audio recorder on your Facebook Messenger to send audio clips to people. So you can use the scripts, but say it versus type it. Make sense? How many of us ever send a prospecting message and we're like trying to we're typing in, it's like 4 sentences. We're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. You're deleting it. You're spending all this time trying to say the perfect words. Forget that nonsense. Use the audio. They hear your excitement, your tonality. And then here's how you follow up. You let them know, hey, Samantha, I wanted to follow up with you to see if you got a chance to check out the groups and watch any of the videos. I'd also like to introduce you to a few other individuals we work with. You're letting them know up front that you're going to be setting up a group chat, all right? That's a part of the process. It's letting them know, hey, I put you in this private group, and I tell people straight up, this is all you have to do. Make note of this. Write that down. You're telling people, all you have to do is what I'm doing with you right now. Adding people to the group and then setting up the group chat. You want to edify your leaders. You want to introduce everybody. So it's just, how many of you do three-way calls? It's the same thing, but you're doing it on Messenger, right? Christina says, I use the audio all the time. Yeah, I've been using that for years now. I started using that back in like 2014. And it used to freak people out. They're like, what is this? Did you get hacked? And I'm like, hit the play button. It's okay. It's really me, right? And the cool thing is, look, you can save your audio clips. What I do is I take my audio clips, my best ones, or my best like copy and paste type messages, and I send them to myself. Did you know you can do that? You can send messages to yourself and have those to use over and over and over and over again. Super cool. You know, we have hacks that we made. You know, if there's like questions that you hear all the time and you know the answer, but you don't have to keep explaining it every time, make a resource, an audio, a copy and paste message you can share in those chats. Anyway, just little hacks and tips. Do I add them to my group chat my team is in? Heather, whenever I do a group chat with a prospect, I only add 2 to 4 other distributors that are on the team. You can add upline, sideline, downline. You just want your prospect to meet other people, but you don't add them to the team chat. No, because they're a prospect. They haven't said yes or no yet, right? So you want to introduce them to just a handful, just like you would on a three-way call. You put your prospect on a three-way call with your upline. Here, you can add multiple upline or sideline, downline. Look, maybe get an accountability group going. Get a group of you, 3, 4, 5 of you, where you all do group chats together. I have a lot of leaders that do that, and it's super powerful. Super powerful. So this is the message, like I said, so you're setting up the group chat. You're letting them know that's a part of the process. So you don't have to be an expert. Get yourself out of the way. And sometimes it's not about, whether, Tanya said this earlier, it's not about whether or not you know the answer to the question. It's about showing them the simplicity of the system. All right, so that's important. So as far as how to set up your ATM group, make sure you print out the complete guide to Facebook groups. Follow the steps that are in place. You're going to notice that there's some changes that they made recently. There's 3 types of groups now. Public, which means anybody can get into it, so you don't want a public group. Then there's private, visible, private, hidden. You really want private hidden. Why? Because then you can see who's adding who to the group. The problem with private visible is people can request to join. How are you going to know who added them? Now, you could have them answer a question, but then who's keeping track of all that? So that's where it becomes challenging. So it's better to have it private hidden. So the only way someone gets in is because they get invited. And then you have, maybe some membership approval, like a membership approval process. You don't really have to have a membership approval process if you're training people like, hey, you're making sure you're talking to people first. Remember, they have to accept the invite, stuff like that. But when it's private hidden, you're the one inviting them, or the people in the group are the ones inviting them. So if you train them up and you let people know, hey, look, we got to protect this group. We don't want to just add random people unless we talk to them first. And another really important thing, this is a big deal, is that with these private communities, it's all about integrity. If you don't make sure that the integrity is intact, it's going to cause a problem, right? Meaning if it's a free-for-all and anybody can sign up anybody in the group and there's no rules or regulations, then people are going to stop adding people to the group. So they need to know that if they add someone to the group, that person is not going to get prospected by someone else. So a lot of this is in this document, but I just kind of wanted to touch on that. And like I said, you really want to have some trained up admins that know, don't just approve every post, don't just approve everything in there. The posts in the group really should be geared towards positivity and something that's helping the members in the group close business. You just want to do your best to monitor and train people up how to use the group the right way. All right. And I know we're going to get some questions on this. Nadia, the next slide is Q&A. So should I do the Q&A now, or did you have anything else that we should add to it before we get into Q&A? And I don't know, Tanya, if you wanted to touch on anything as well, because I know I went through a lot.
No, I would do some Q&A. So I was reading some of the comments coming in.
Okay.
There's fun parody going on today.
Oh, me too.
So I was reading some of the comments that, somebody says, what does ATM stand for? So that was on one of our previous slides, but it's add, tag, message. So that's the process. So I'm going to give you guys like a 30,000 foot view of how you would use this. So you've got somebody that says, I am interested in more information. Yes, tell me more. So what I'm going to say is awesome. Let's say it's Nancy. I'm going to say, awesome, Nancy. I'm so excited to share with you some more information. I have this really powerful Facebook group that's private. I can add you to the group, and there's a couple of videos in there that'll explain everything that you need to know. And there's some really cool stories in there that you probably want to check out and see. It'll probably take you about 15 or 20 minutes to go through some of the initial information. How soon can you carve out that time so I can put you into the Facebook group? So that's how I would actually initiate the invite into the Facebook group. So the Facebook group is my presentation tool. Your presentation tool is the Facebook group. And it's a private group. They can only be invited into the group by you. You need to add them, and then you give them clear instruction on where to go into the group and what to watch first. And you can tag them in like specific posts or specific videos once they've accepted the invite into the Facebook group, okay? So basically what I was doing before was I had a video that I would share with people, and it was on like some random web page, and I would have to like text or message them that video, and like that's all they're seeing. There's no excitement of the group. There's no excitement of people winning and having results. And think about like why back in the day in network marketing, when network marketing took hold like crazy, why it was so powerful back in the day is because, well, how did network marketing get presented normally? It was like hotel meetings, right? And there was like 50 or 100 people at these hotel meetings, and there was so much social proof, and people were saying, yes, this is what it's done for me, or yes, this is what it's done for me. The modern day way now is inside of a Facebook group. And so whenever I add my prospects into these groups, they just are like, wow, this is huge, it's bigger than me. People are winning, they're seeing results, people are getting added to the groups and all this. And so yes, we are using company videos inside of the groups. And for the longest time, we even just had a couple of YouTube video links in there because we didn't have the videos, but now we've got the videos, so the videos are posted in there. But there's like 2 or 3 videos at the very top of the announcement post And you can basically just have those there and then tell your prospects, hey, go look at those videos. And so, hold on one second, I'm gonna see if, there we go, Johnny added you back. Hold on one sec. Yeah, so go look at those videos. So we're using the ATM Group as the presentation tool, and the entire team is using the ATM Group as the presentation tool. So once somebody says, yep, Tanya, I can take a look at the information tonight, then I go, okay, great. I'm gonna add you as a friend here on Facebook, because I have to walk them through this process, right? So you have to be friends with the person on Facebook to put them into the group. So I'm gonna tell them and say, look, I'm gonna send you a friend request. Let me know once you've accepted that so I can add you to the group. And then they say, okay, great, I've accepted your friend request. Then I go into the group, I add them into the group, and then I come back to Messenger and say, hey, I just added you to this group, and I actually share with them the link of the group so that they can easily find it. Yes, they'll get a notification. You guys know what happens in Facebook, notifications go pretty fast. So what I do is I say, hey, listen, I just added you to this group, and I tell them the name of it. I said, you might get a notification, but here's the link to the group, just so you have it. Go there and accept the invite, and I'll tell you which videos that you want to watch based on the information that I know that you want to gather in there. You're gonna love it. It's super exciting. There's so much going on in there that I think that you'll find value in. And then what I do is on my list of my prospect list that I'm keeping track of all my prospects, beside Nancy's name, I'm gonna say added to ATM Group on March 29th, follow up March 30th or later that evening or whatever. So then when I sit down and I look at all my prospects list and where people are in the process, I know I added Nancy to the ATM Group and I gotta go follow up with her in Messenger. And that's gonna bring us, we'll do a little bit of Q&A on ATM right now, and then we're gonna go into how we follow up to make the sale and close. Okay, so that's like the 30,000 foot view. And this is the actual group, you guys, by the way. You are talking about your product. You are talking about your business. You are saying the name of your company. You are saying the name of your products. It's no longer hidden. They're in the group. They're getting presented to. You don't hide the information there. They're learning the information of your company or your products. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll do a little bit of a Q&A. John, do you see anything there that we need to address before moving to the next portion of the process?
Yeah, I feel like most of these questions were answered. There is one thing I'd like to add too, just the new process. It's not that new, but it's been about 6 months now. When you add somebody, they do have to approve the invite to the group, and I like that because then they're a serious person. They're really wanting the information. And as far as like follow-ups and stuff like that, Aiden, we're going to get into follow-ups for sure. And anything that you missed on the slide deck. We'll upload the slide deck in the unit 1 once we're done with the training. So that way you guys can go back through it. And you know what? One question that we do get often, I've seen it kind of different versions of it. If somebody should start an ATM group if they're new, in my opinion, no. If you're brand new and you're literally no one on your team, maybe talk to your upline or sideline. You guys might want to start like a customer ATM group in the beginning. It is a little tough if you literally are brand new to get into doing that stuff. I'd rather you focus on like the company system and then set up your own ATM group. There's probably some others that would have a different opinion. I just feel like when you're brand spanking new, like let's focus on making you some money and building up your foundation, your customer base, your team, but start identifying those best tools, the best testimonials, and maybe even create the group, but just don't start using it just yet until you get some other people helping facilitate and add to it. I just know when someone's brand new, sometimes they get caught up in busy work versus productive work. And I would rather you focus on making money first and then setting it up. But for most of us that have been around a little bit, I would say set it up ASAP.
If your company has an ATM group that they're running and it's working and it's part of your process, stay with that process. There's no reason really for you to go and I'll be honest, like there's some people on our teams that have decided to start using their own ATM groups We've got corporate that runs ATM groups for us. I still plug everything into corporate if I can. I try not to recreate the wheel on anything because it's just leverage. It's easier. So if you have that privilege, if it's working for you, keep doing what's working. Don't recreate the wheel. If you don't have that opportunity yet, I'll tell you what, guys, I was in a company that didn't talk about ATM at all. They just didn't know it existed, and it just wasn't a thing yet over there. And I learned about ATM from John, and I was like, this is really cool. I'm going to try to model it for our team with my company. And so we started to do that, and it started to work. And it basically is just a one-stop place. This is how you just think about it. It's this really great place that you can put your prospects to get the information, and then have it be like a automatic drip campaign for them. And what we mean by automatic drip campaign is that anytime new information gets put into the group, the prospect will get a notification. Hey, this new thing happened in this group. Hey, this new thing happened. So here's the cool thing. I put people into our ATM groups. They said maybe no, not right now. Totally forgot about them. John, an interview in the group, a top producer spotlight or a product spotlight, and and my prospect will get a ping on it, and they'll see the new information, and then I'll get a message out of nowhere from somebody saying, hey, I saw this thing and now I'm interested. So it's automatic drip campaign as leverage for you, because anytime new stuff gets put into the Facebook group, they see it. If they don't remove themselves from the group, they're just in the group, and most people don't remove themselves from the group. So it's great social community for them to get dripped on information, and the average person needs to see something 7 to 10 times before they make a buying decision, so it serves that purpose perfectly, right? And so, and if you're creating your own Facebook group, and there's a really good guide in the group, guys, on, just follow it. It gives you the steps, it gives you our recommendations on it if you want to create your own. And, you're not going to, what was I going to say? I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, yes, as well. Whenever you add somebody to the group, it shows who added who to the group. The group settings show that.
Right.
So you actually see who's producing on your team, who's adding people to the group, and you can reach out to them and give them a shout out and say, oh my gosh, I noticed that you're adding so many people to the group and you're doing all these presentations. Congratulations, it's super awesome. You have so many things. And the things that you want to post in the group are things related specifically to your company and or products, okay? Also, highlight interviews of people who are having success with the product or success with the business, testimonials, new people joining, new customers joining, all the things that that are going to pique someone's interest if a prospect's in there paying attention and watching, right?
I'd also like to talk about the fact that a group is a community. So sometimes we kind of forget that it's like a neighborhood. You want everyone to participate, right? It's a virtual neighborhood. So you really want others posting and chiming in and sharing stories and engaging in the group. So it shouldn't be that. Now, of course, in the beginning it might be, but eventually you want to have other admins, moderators, other individuals helping with the group. There are lots of great questions. We'll probably do a Q&A post for you guys as well, but I saw one person ask, can you tag them before they've accepted the invite? No, you can't. You could tag them, but they're not going to get the alert until they're actually in the group. And like Tanya said, you can see who's adding people to the group as long as the group is hidden and it's not visible. If it's visible, people can then request to join, and when they request to join, you're not going to see who added them unless you have a question that they have to answer. Hope that makes sense. My upline has a group. It's all in English. Listen, if you have other languages, you can create units for those other languages, which is super awesome. So you can have a French unit, a German unit, a Spanish unit. Would you make the prospect and product group different from the client group? Jill, you don't necessarily have to. I'm always careful to give you guys too much responsibility and too much work. Now, if you're making $100,000 a month and you're killing it and this is all you do, sure, yeah, you can have a client group and an ATM group, right? But for most of us that are part-time, it's hard enough to run one group and keep it going and keep it exciting and keep people engaged and use that group, let alone having a client group, a business group, a team group. It's just everybody's kind of in different places in their business. I think you have to use your resources in the beginning just to get one group up and running, two at the most, and they should only be for the purpose, like Tanya said. These are literally the groups where they're going to find out more information about the company. There's no more curiosity at this point. Once they're in the group, they are a prospect going through the sales process. They should know the name of the company, the products. They should get all the questions answered to help them make a buying decision. So I hope some of that helps. How often should we post in the group? If you have other people posting in there a lot, then your responsibility of posting there all the time is not as relevant. But I think something should go in there at least once a day. In the beginning, you're probably going to have a tough time getting engagement unless you just immediately put hundreds of people in there. So ask questions, do free, like a 5-day water challenge, a 5-day planking challenge, a sugar-free challenge. Like, find ways to keep people excited and giving other people in the group an excuse to add their friends and family. Product giveaways, all kinds of fun things you can do. Michelle, yeah, you could do training. I look at it like this. When I want to sell something, I lead with training. I lead with educating. It's so much easier to sell something when I don't look at it as selling. I look at it as educating them to help make that buying decision. Rita, should I have public figure page? Rita, for right now, I'm going to answer that question with a no. Could you do that later? Absolutely. There's nobody better at teaching business pages and that high-level stuff than Tanya Eliza. For you to build a network marketing business, get the ball rolling, create success, absolutely not. I have people on my team that make multiple 6 figures. They don't have a business page, so that's not something you have to have. Estella says, can people comment freely? Yep, they can comment on anything they want. Posting in the group? No. Commenting, yes. However, you do have to police it sometimes. You'll get someone that does a before and after. You'll get these nasty people that might say, oh, I think you looked better before. Now you're all skin and bones, or, perverts, weirdos. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff go down. The good news is they're very obvious, and somebody just has to hold the comment down. A little message will pop up to report it. You report the comment. The admins not only remove the comment, but boot that person out. That does happen sometimes. And let's answer 2 more questions, then we'll move on to the next segment. Does that sound good, Tanya? Cool. All right. Kathy says, how can I appear as the leader when I add and tag people into someone else's group, company groups, or other teams? You don't have to be a leader. You don't have to be a leader by title. Does that make sense? We're in network marketing. As soon as you step into the role of a leader, even if you're just leading yourself in the beginning, you're a person of one, you're a team of one, you're the only person responsible for your income. You are a leader when you make a decision. Leadership is a decision. You don't have to be a top producer, a top earner. I've got people in my business, they're brand new, and they started adding people to the ATM groups, and they got their first couple customers and their first couple distributors literally in the first 24 to 48 hours plugging into the system. You don't have to be a leader. And then there was one last question. Can I add my own Facebook Live video in the announcements? Yes, 100%. I do Facebook Live classes for my customers, or should it just be company-made videos? No, Kelly, you could do, it doesn't even have to be a Facebook Live. It could just be a pre-recorded video. You upload it, 5-minute, 10-minute little intro video. I will tell you, shorter is better, right? People's attention spans these days, like, instead of doing one 30-minute video, it would be better to do 3 10-minute videos. Make sense? All right, we got to move on. There's lots of great questions. We'll do a post maybe regarding ATM questions, and we'll pop in there and try to answer some of those. Is that cool?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's get into follow-up and closing, baby. My favorite.
Yeah, we'll make sure that you guys feel confident with all of those. And we'll keep it rolling just because we had some tech issues. We're running a little bit later than normal today, and we apologize for that. I hope it's okay if we just continue to pour in value. We've got an agenda that we need to accomplish with you guys. So just think about it holistically right now, what we've done today, right? What we've done is we've shown some examples on posting to get engagement, how to start conversations with those people that you're engaging with, and then how to transition those conversations into asking if they're open. And now we have some way to move them into a presentation. Now, if you do not have an ATM group that you're using for your presentation, that doesn't mean that you can't present, right? For now, if you don't have an ATM group, what you want to do is just use whatever presentation format you've been using or has been working in your company. Don't steer right or left on that. And then on your good idea notepad would be start an ATM group if you think that that's going to be beneficial in your business. And it will be eventually. You want to add that for sure. This is just our way and how we've provided a lot of leverage and duplication inside of our team. So now we know how to take the conversation and present to those people, right? And we're doing crazy overview today. And then tomorrow we're going to get into like nitty gritty, like more how to post, what to say, and how to close. But what happens when you put somebody into the ATM group? You do the ad, you do the tag, you do the message. Now what do you do to follow up with them and close them into a sale? That's what we're going to go over in our next session. Here, John, are you ready? I'm doing this training, but are you ready? All right, so let's get organized here. Hold on one sec. And then we will do here like this. No, I don't like that one. Do here. No, I don't like that one either. I don't know how to operate. How did I? Okay, one sec. There we go. Boom. Okay. All right, you guys. So there are scripts on follow-up and all of that good stuff. The scripts and guides on follow-up and closing inside of the unit section. And you guys, in the comment section, just share your love for all of these resources that we put together for you guys, because honestly, I am absolutely blown away by all of them. So you guys, but this is going to give you what you need to really take it home, okay? So we're going to make sure that in there you have our follow-up and closing guide. So a lot of these things that are going over in the slide, I guess Patty's going to post the slides for you guys, which is awesome and super cool as well. But you get a detailed explanation in the guides and PDFs, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about objection handling, but we also have a more in-depth scripting guide about objection handling. And objections are just questions. If people have questions or objections, it's actually a really good thing. And we need to be professional and need to know how to navigate those as well, okay? So here's, again, picture this. I've added somebody to the group. Somebody said, yes, Tanya, I'm interested, tell me more. I go, oh my gosh, it's so awesome. I've got this really exciting Facebook group that you're gonna love. It's got all the information in there that'll explain absolutely everything. How soon can you have about 15 minutes to check it out? I'd love to get you added in there so you can look at all the excitement. I can take a look at it later tonight. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna add you to the group. You guys notice that when I'm messengering people, you can either do this voice or you can do a text, doesn't matter. I'm telling them what the next step is, and I'm very clear in baby stepping them throughout the whole process, okay? So I'm telling them, okay, here's what we're gonna do next. I'm gonna add you to this. And then what I like to do is I like to have them say, like when I say, hey, how soon can you carve out 15 or 20 minutes? And they say, I can do that tonight. I go, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add you to the group. And then since you can take a look at the information tonight, I'm gonna follow up with you tomorrow morning here on Messenger. And I'm gonna see if you have any questions and I'm gonna get some feedback from you. Is that cool? So I'm telling them, hey, here's what we're gonna do next after I do this with you. And so it's better than just throwing somebody the information and then not telling them what the next step after that is going to be. You're gonna have a much better chance of that follow-up happening in a favorable way. Whether it's a yes or a no, they're still gonna connect back with you. There's a lot of people that say, well, this person didn't get back with me, or they're not answering my messages. It's like, okay, well, we didn't tell them what we were gonna be doing next, so maybe they just didn't know, right? So you want to follow up immediately after the presentation. So somebody in the comments here asked earlier, Tanya, how do you keep track of your prospects or everybody that you're ATMing? I don't care how you do it. For me personally, I keep it old school. I've got a Google sheet. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. It's 2 columns. It's so dang simple. It literally has the person's name, and then it has notes of where they are in the process. So my notes are like chicken scratch. I'm like, added Nancy, ATM Nancy, March 28th, need to follow up March 29th or whatever. And then when I go through that list, I go, oh, I need to follow up with Nancy. I put her into the group. So I go to my messenger, I find Nancy and I's conversation, and then I go, okay, what do did she get back with me? Okay, no, she didn't get back with me yet. I need to get back with her. So then I want to just make sure that she's watched the videos or she's gathered the information. So that would be my pro tip, is set the appointment and expectation before you even give them the presentation or you add them into the group. Okay, that's going to help with your follow-up. It's going to tighten it up a little bit, and that's what you really want. And then what you do is just confirm that they've watched the presentation. So my first message would be, hey, Nancy, just wanted to check in as promised. Did you get a chance to absorb the information that I added you to in the Facebook yet, or at least a little bit of it, right? And you're looking for a yes. And if they said, oh, no, I haven't yet, kids, life, everything got in the way, then I'm just going to say, no problem, that's totally cool. Do you know when you'll be able to have a look at it so I know when to follow up next and make sure that your questions are answered? Okay, so that's how I handle it. You don't really want to go into the next thing until you know that they've absorbed the information, at least a little bit of it inside of the group. Okay, and then restate what they told you they wanted and pin it down. So sometimes if you know that they came from a curiosity post where you know that they wanted to get information about losing weight, and maybe you were talking to them a little bit about their fitness goals or their weight loss goals, I might reiterate that back and be like, hey, I know that you told me that you wanted to X, Y, Z, so I'm gonna actually even tag you in this video over here, and it's about this, and it could be related to exactly what they want. So sometimes in the follow-up conversation, if I know a little bit about them, if you've had that human interaction and conversation with them before, then sometimes I'll even reiterate that at this point too, to kind of get them back on track with, hey, this is a thing that's gonna help you with what you told me that you wanted. It's a little bit of a pro tip as well, okay? So there's also follow-up after some time has passed, okay? So let's say you forgot about them, because people have done this. I've done this too. I've ATM'd somebody or put them into a Facebook group to get the information, and I've forgotten about them, or maybe they just kind of ignored you, and you sent them the message, hey, did you get a chance to watch those videos or the information that I sent you? And that say they don't get up with you, like they don't say anything, they ghost you. This happens with me all the time too. It'll happen with you. It's just part of the process, right? So maybe again, I'll say, hey, I know that you told me that you wanted to, drop 10 pounds before bikini season hits around the corner. I'd really love to help you do that. We've got some really exciting things happening in that group that I added you to. Did you get a chance to see them? All right. So again, what did you want? What did you want? Also think about any new information that you can share. Maybe you have new products or new content that was posted in the group, or a new success interview that was done. And this is why I think it's important to go into your ATM group periodically to look at the new information, and then look at your prospect list and your list of people and see, okay, what could I share with them that's new information inside of this group that might re-spark or re-pique their interest, all right? So just think about that. And then what you can also say is there anything standing in the way right now from us circling back around and getting this party started? So maybe it's funny on Facebook Messenger, right? Like you can see when somebody sees your message. Some of you know you're being ignored or not. And gosh, I'm like, it hurts when people are ignoring me. But, you can just kind of re-spark. And then there's a couple of things that you do. Like people ask, well, Tanya, how many times do you send messages after being ignored? And typically I'll send maximum 3 messages. And then I'll just tell them, hey, listen, I hope you're getting my messages. I hope everything is okay. I didn't want to let anything fall through the cracks with our conversation and with some of your goals that you had. But it looks like right now might not be the right time. I'm just gonna cross you off my list for now, but if anything changes, please, please, please let me know. I'd love to help you with what you told me that you wanted. So really I kind of have like a 3-message rule, and after 3 messages, they're seeing my messages, they're not responding back. I leave it very nicely open because again, you never know what can happen in people's lives and when they'll be open again. I'm never rude, I'm never like, you know, mean, not like any of you guys would be, but I leave the door always open with my prospects, okay? So here's in the prospecting and follow-up and closing script book that you guys are gonna get, you'll see that I've got this message as well that I like to use. So, you know, if they're not answering you, here's exact lingo that I'll use. I'll be like, hey, I'm just checking in. I obviously don't want to feel like I'm bugging you with checking in and not hearing back from you. Were you serious about, you know, shedding those 10 pounds before bikini season hits, or not really? So those, you know, it's a question that I'll ask them, kind of reiterating what they told me that they wanted. And then I'll just say, hey, it's totally cool either way. I just didn't want this conversation to slip through the cracks if you were serious. You know, it's like, hey, I'm just checking in. I'm being a good person. Personally, for me, you guys, I love when people follow up with me because I am so busy like everybody else. And there might be something that I truly, really want. And I just have not had time in my schedule to take a serious look at something. I'm sure a lot of you guys have had the same thing happen. I'm trying to think of this that I had the other day. Gosh, I can't remember what happened the other day. I think it was I can't remember what it was, but they actually had to follow up with me 3 times. And I'm like, gosh, I really need to get back up with them. I really want that thing. And then when they actually sent me a message that said, you know, hey, like, I'm going to kind of stop bugging you. I was like, no, don't stop bugging me. And I appreciate it. I'm like, gosh, I'm super sorry. I've been super busy. I really want this thing. So don't feel like you are bugging somebody, especially in this day and age. But I mean, you should have a maximum amount of messages, and then you can send them a message that is kind of like their last message. And this is the last message that I send somebody that typically works a lot of the time if somebody was even remotely interested. So I'll say, hey, I hope it's okay. I hope all is okay. I left a couple messages and I haven't heard back. I don't want to feel like I'm bugging you. So I'm actually going to cross you off my list for right now. But if anything changes in the future, just let me know. Okay. If you want to check out any of the products and maybe try those first, you can go check out the products and promotions here. So sometimes if I know that they've been looking at the products, I'll maybe drop my shopping link for them. And if you guys have like an incentive for new customers, like a coupon code or something, you might want to just give that to them anyways. And they can go shopping on your site. And hey, they might just sign up and become a customer because you were super cool, but you gave them the opportunity to just do that on their own time. So you kind of don't let that slip through the cracks as well. And yes, there is PDFs and scripts for this all supposedly loaded in the unit section. We'll make sure for our follow-up and closing scripts. Okay, are you guys getting value? Does this help a little bit on the follow-up? Answers that question probably that people are asking, like, how many times do you follow up with somebody who's like ignore you or ghost you or whatever? This is what I do. And actually this message, like, I'm crossing you off my list. There's so many psychological reasons why this really works well. Number one, people don't like to be crossed off a list without their permission. So it's always gotten, and even I had one person get back with me, remember, because I felt kind of sad for them. They had one of their spouses, they were really interested, and they actually had one of their spouses have a major health issue that was the reason why they weren't responding to any of my messages. And they actually came back and said, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry for not getting back with you. I really don't want you to cross me off the list because I'm really interested. I'm just going through this major health issue with my wife. And I really am interested. And I was like, oh, okay, well, absolutely. It just put into perspective that people just do have a lot going on. And as long as we're just a good, like, polite follow-upper, it actually goes a long way. It really does. All right. Cool. So let's get to it. Here is a pro tip. Now, every time I share this, people go crazy over this tip. And I should probably do more formal training on this. Like, this is really good. So on your phone, you have photo albums that you can create, right? And so I have 2 photo albums that I use a lot of the time to help me with my closing. And one of the photo albums I have are product testimonials from my company. And then one of the other photo albums is business testimonials from my company. So anytime I'm anywhere in our groups, on Facebook, on the company corporate page, wherever I see somebody in the company post a product testimonial or a business testimonial, I screenshot it and I save it to the photo album, one or the other, if it's a business testimonial or a product testimonial, right? And then what I do in Messenger when I'm having these follow-up conversations, especially with my 3-way conversations, I actually answer questions and just share like 4 or 5 of the screenshots inside of these conversation threads. So if somebody says something like, I'll give you a couple examples. So somebody says, hey, do the products really work? I'll say, I'm going to actually share with you a couple of my customer stories, not just my story. I already gave you my story. I'm going to share with you a couple of my customer stories or some of our customer stories so you can see these products actually working for other people. And I'll share with them, you know, it might be 5 to 10. I'll share with them all at once. I'll say, hey, I've got a photo album on my phone where I screenshot people's testimonials that they're having with the product. So take a look at all of them and you can see how they're working for other people. And then the same thing with business. So if somebody's like, how much money can you make? Does this really work? I don't know if I can do this. Then I'll say, hey, I'm just going to share with you some of our teammates and distributors inside of our company, our marketing reps, and I'm going to share with you their personal experience with working with us and what they've been able to do. Bam, 5 or 10 pictures go out from that saved photo album. You guys like that? So that might be a need to implement ASAP note, wink, wink, to help you with your conversations. Again, this is probably one of the most powerful ways to answer any question or objection or any concern or insecurity that your prospect is having or uncertainty that your prospect is having, okay? So how many people are gonna do that right away with the photo album? Create those photo albums, like immediately. Start screenshotting, it'll take you 5 minutes, you guys, to create these photo albums and start using them in your conversations. You will sign up more business with those photos by sharing those than anything else that you do besides the gifts thing. The gifts thing is pretty fun as well, okay? And use these in your prospect and follow-up and closing conversations. So this is really important, and this is something I've been doing for many years. When you follow up with somebody and when you say, hey, we had a chance to watch those videos or get the information in the group. And they say, yeah, I took a look, I love it. Or they might just say, yes, I've had a chance to look at them. What do you do from there? What do you say? So I got a 3-question close. You never, ever, ever want to say, so what did you think? Okay? Never want to say, what did you think? What you do want to say is, what did you like best about what you saw? Because you want to know. You don't want to know what they think and leave it specifically open-ended. You want a closed question. What did you like best for what you saw? Ask that question. They're going to tell you what they like best, and then you're going to be able to know where their head is at and what they're thinking. And that's going to be really important for your closing transition. And they're going to tell you, right? And then what I'm going to say is, oh my gosh, I love that you saw all those things that you like. That's pretty awesome, right? That's super cool. Do you see an opportunity for yourself with us? Right? And at this point, they're gonna, 1 of 2 things can happen. They're gonna say yes, or 1 of 3 things can happen. They're gonna say yes, or maybe no, or they say, I've got some questions, right? So you wanna know the direction that you're going. Do you see an opportunity for yourself with us? And then what I say is, great, is there anything else you need to know before we get you rocking and rolling with us? That is your close. Okay, so you have to ask for the sale. no one rarely is ever going to say, hey, Tanya, where do I sign up? Like, I want to know where to sign up. You've got to lead the conversation. So this is exactly what you do. Is there anything else you need to know before we get you rocking and rolling? And sometimes people are going to say, no, I don't have anything more to ask. I'm good. Like, let's go. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to send you our getting started instructions, or I'm going to walk you through our getting started instructions. And then from there, you walk them through your getting started instructions. Also, at that point, a lot of the time, they have a few questions. And typically I say, okay, great, you got some questions. Let's collect those questions. Let's answer those questions. If you're happy with the answers, let's get you started today. Does that sound good? Right? And so we're going to get into some of objection handling and that, but you guys have to be asking for the sale and then taking control of this closing process if you want to close more sales on social media. And if somebody says not right now, Randy, how do you respond to somebody that says not right now? Awesome, not a problem. Is there a time that would be better? Or, I would ask, like, what does that mean, right? What does that mean? Does that mean like not right now, mean like tomorrow? Or like, is there a time that would be better? Sort of the logical thing that comes to mind, right? So objections and questions. If somebody has questions, typically that means they're interested. So that's actually a really good thing, okay? That's a really, really good thing that they have questions. So we're just here to navigate and guide them to getting them through those and making them feel comfortable. Now, at this point, typically, hopefully, if you can, you have started a group chat with some of your leadership, if you have, or a little bit of a support group, and maybe you have 2 or 3 people in a group chat in Messenger. So this is what I do. When I add somebody to the Facebook group, I typically also add them to a group chat with some of my leaders. And I say, hey, everybody, meet each other. Meet Nancy. She's a teacher. She's looking to supplement our income a little bit and learn about our business and how to make money on Facebook and using social media. Nancy, I'd love for you to meet John. He works with me. He's fabulous. Here's some of the things that John's been able to do with the company. I'm so excited for us all to be chatting. We're here with any questions or concerns that you have whatsoever. And we're here to also have a lot of fun, okay? So in that case, we've already got that leadership group chat also started. And typically, like, your leadership and everybody can kind of help answer these questions and navigate your prospect through some of these questions. So what I do is I like to make sure that my time is not wasted and neither is theirs. And I don't want to have you guys wasting your time as well. So I typically make sure that they say yes to the question you ask them. Do you see an opportunity for yourself before answering any questions or handling anything at all? Because wouldn't you guys agree, like, it's pointless to spend so much time answering questions that they're like, oh no, I didn't see an opportunity for myself. So that you've got to make sure that you ask that question, and if they go into asking questions before they've answered yes to that question, bring them back to that question. I'll go, oh my gosh, you got some questions, that's awesome, I'm so excited, happy to answer them all. But first, I just want to know, do you see an opportunity for yourself here? Ask it again. And they're like, yeah, but I've got some questions. Okay, good. I just want to make sure you do see an opportunity for yourself. And then we can go to questions so that we're maximizing everybody's time here. Okay? All right. So little pro tip as well, so you don't spend, 10 minutes answering questions or anybody's time answering questions. And then, they're like, no, I wasn't ever interested. I just want to ask the questions. I had nothing better to do. I'm quarantined. Right? And typically what I like to do personally is I like to collect all their questions up front. This is a little time maximizing tip for me, because I don't really like to have the prospect shoot questions at me all day long, and we never know when that road ends and where we can close it. So what I say is I go, great, you've got some questions. What are your questions? Let me know all the questions that you have, and then I'm going to answer them. And then if you like the answers to the questions, let's get you rocking and rolling. Does that sound good? Okay. So before I learned this tip, by the way, I learned this tip because I struggled for so long, and then I dialed in the struggle. I struggled with people throwing questions at me for 4 or 5 days, and I was like, wait a minute, they just keep asking questions, and I don't even know when we can get this close done. So I decided to go further with that. And I'm like, let's just get all the questions at once and then answer them all. And now we know the next step is sign up if they're happy with all the answers to the questions. Okay. So pro tip, definitely super helpful. Will save you guys a ton of time. Okay. Answer the questions with stories or your photo album. Okay. So again, if they're like, how's the compensation plan work? And I go, I would say, hey, you know, if there's an objection handling book there, I'd say, hey, how much do you want to make of them? How much extra time do you have a week? Hey, well, that's definitely possible here. Check out some of these stories, right? And they're like, oh, okay. And sometimes I've even deviated somebody away from, nobody really wants to know the nitty gritties of their compensation plan. They don't. It's confusing. All of our compensation plans are probably confusing. We don't want to confuse our prospects. We just want to paint the vision so they can see something happening for themselves in their life and get attached to that vision and say yes to coming on that journey with us. All right. And then again, you've got to ask for the sale. So after you're done answering questions or helping them with anything that they need, great, we've answered all of your questions. Let's get you rocking and rolling. Does that sound good? All right. So that's typically how I do it. And it's really, really, really as easy as that. And again, have fun with it, you guys, because I'm going to tell you that if you can have fun with it and share gifts and you know, laugh about things and make people feel really warm and fuzzy throughout the entire process, and you laugh with them and you have fun with them, then what's going to happen is they're going to see for themselves them doing that same thing. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, that was super fun and easy. I can definitely do that. No problem at all. So I want to make sure that you guys also have the scripts. Right? We're going to leave those for you guys. But make sure that you do have a tracker that you're tracking where people are at in the process. Because when I first got started, you guys, when I first got started, I had a lot of ATMs going. Like I had a super strong goal to hit one of the top levels in our company in 90 days. And to do that, I knew that I had to be ATMing, putting people into our Facebook group, presenting to them. I needed to be doing that 5 times a day. And that was my goal at that time. And so when you're doing that, you have so many people in the process at different stages of the process. You've got to know where everybody's at. And if you only have 60 minutes a day to build your business, in that 60 minutes, I would grab my tracker and I would go, okay, I'm working off my tracker in this 60 minutes. We're adding 5 new people to this tracker and we're following up with everybody, and everybody is in a different phase of the process. Where do I need to go? What do I need to do? And where is something at? All right. So I'm gonna bring out John and Nadia again, so we can kind of bounce off questions here, and also see if they've got some other great tips to add on closing. Because you guys all know, like John and Nadia, they are closing beasts in and of themselves. Did I say that right? In and of themselves.
That was so good. Oh my gosh, smash that hard button, y'all. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm smashing that hard button myself.
Guys, love that training. And yeah, so in unit 1, you'll also see the follow-up and closing blueprint. Now, the one thing I do want to cycle around, you guys, when it's one strategy that is so powerful, if you can leverage this and then duplicate that in the team, John, I want you to talk a little bit about how to leverage applications. Like this here is such a powerful strategy that I am telling you guys, you got to get excited about it.
Yeah, for some of you that maybe have holding tanks or placement suites in your company, let me know how many of you have that. Like when you enroll a new person on your team, you kind of have like a period of time where you can move them. So page number 4 in the closing guide, like Nadia had mentioned, it's how to leverage applications. So this is really powerful. Let's say you have someone on the fence and they're kind of, they haven't made a decision yet. Sometimes it's because they're just taking their time to think through it. Other times it's they're being wishy-washy, or maybe it's just the end of the month and you want to close more business. You could say, hey, Sam, I just want to give you a heads up. I just signed up this incredible person, Sarah, and I showed you the business first. If you get started, I'm going to move Sarah under you if you get started right now. So you could literally turn one app into two, two into three, three into four, four into five. I used to do this aggressively back in the day when we used to get paper applications. We would go do a home meeting and you'd get paper apps. So that's why we would leverage applications, even though we didn't have a placement suite back then, because we'd have, physical applications, and we'd say, hey, Todd, I'm putting 3 people in right now. If you get started, I'm going to put these people in under you. And some of you might be in a binary, some of you might have a placement suite. So it's a neat way to knock people off the fence. And I don't care if someone's a no. I need you to get to that point where you don't care. Kind of like what Tanya talked about with the posture and just the attitude of like, hey, I want you in my business. I'd love to work with you. But you saying no is not going to stop me, prevent me, slow me down. It's irrelevant to me if you say yes or no. I want you to say yes, but I'm totally okay with you saying no. But the maybes are going to kill you, right? Like if you spend all your time following up the same 5, 10, 15, 20 people, it's just going to become a drag. So I love crossing people off my follow-up list. I have zero problem saying, hey, listen, I've got someone to put in the system. I've got someone I'm moving. If you get started now, they're going to be under you. And here's how I look at it. First of all, if I leverage in one application, right? Let's say I've got, Sam here that signs up, and then I put Susie above Sam. Here's the thing. I also expect Susie to at some point put someone under Sam. So I'll even encourage her to then place someone under Sam so Sam's getting a benefit. And if someone says no, like they decide not to get started, even though I'm going to position someone under them, to me, that's very obvious that person is not serious, because if they're not going to get started knowing they can get someone on their team, then they're probably not going to get started no matter what I say. So I'm just going to go ahead and cross them off my list. And I think ultimately the fortune is in the follow-up. Some people are not going to sign up no matter what you say, no matter what you do right now. But maybe in a month, maybe in 6 months, maybe in a year. Like I said, there's people that probably said no a month ago that would join today because they're quarantined, they lost their job, they have a lot of uncertainty in their life. So I think this is a great time to follow up with everybody and their brother. And I will say this too, before I turn it back over to Tanya, with closing, it really is an art and a science. I think if you were to talk to 10 top income earners, they would all have a little bit of a different philosophy on how they close and how they do things. But if you're newer, you're new-ish, and you're not a top producer, you're not a top enroller, you're not a great closer, you've got to take proven practices, strategies that we're teaching you here today. And if some of this works for you, great. If some of this doesn't, you won't know unless you test it out. So you just need to get comfortable with closing and asking that buying question, asking that closing question. Hey, are you ready to get started? Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? 10, you ready to get started with big pack? 1, you want to be a customer. Where are you at? I'm a 4. Awesome. What do we got to do to get you to a 10? Right? Like you just can't be afraid to cross people off your list, to take it away from them, to be postured, say things like, hey, if you're coachable, if you're serious about this, you want to fire your boss, pay off your debt, you want to lose the weight, if you're coachable and you work with me, I'll help you. You can't be afraid to make those bold statements. You can't be afraid to just get to the bottom line. And a lot of what Tanya talked about is so on point because I think a lot of times we get caught in the mode of like not wanting to turn someone off, following up. Like I'm in some chats with some people and they've been ignoring the chats for literally weeks and even months. And I just keep telling them, I'm like, listen, stop following up with that person. Take it away, cross them off, and move on. The sooner you move on, and I love it because as soon as I cross people off my list, I'm motivated to add new people onto that list and get new people in the funnel. So anyway, great conversation, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about leadership and team duplication.
Yeah, we're going to do an implementation session, you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
For your 15 minutes implementation session so we can apply what we learned. That's where the magic happens, where it solidifies. That's where it's, anchors, you guys. So our implementation session, okay, we've learned how to post. We've got comments and likes probably happening there. We did hopefully our Facebook Live. So we've got comments and stuff happening over there. We've already started 5 conversations, and hopefully you guys, hopefully by now you have some sort of prospecting list that you've started or you've been working over your career of network marketing. Hopefully you have that somewhere. If you don't, that needs to be a need to implement ASAP topic of your note today, okay? So what we're gonna do is we want you to take what you've learned in our follow-up and closing session here. We want you to take what you learned and follow up with 5 people that you have on your list, or maybe you already have conversations going in Messenger and you want to, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna go into those conversations and you're going to follow up and close. Maybe you have to present to some of them still. So maybe you can use some of the ATM invite strategies to get them to take a look at the business presentation or product presentation and then follow up with them. Hey, what did you like best about what you saw? Hey, do you see an opportunity for yourself? Great. Is there anything else you need to know before we get you started? Let's get some of those started. Now, 5 is the minimum, guys, that we want to see. But we are not minimum people over here. We're not, right? This is a boot camp, all right? You got the mountains and Miss Eliza. We are kicking your butt here, so make us proud. So if you happen to follow up with more than 5 in 15 minutes, you should be able to do 10 at least. So I'm gonna challenge you to even rev it up a little bit more, you guys. So that's gonna be our challenge. We're gonna spend 15 minutes doing that. We'll be back at 5:30 East Coast time. And for those of you guys that were wondering, I figured it out because I was also wondering, for those of you guys that didn't buy the lifetime recording at time of purchase, we kept the price for you. Okay, so we're gonna do an announcement post for you. It's $100 to get a lifetime access to the recordings. If you've already purchased at the $297 with the live and the recordings, don't buy this again. But if you just bought the live ticket and then now you're like, I really would like those recordings for lifetime, keeping the early bird pricing for you guys for the weekend. So you can go to socialmarketinglive.com/recordings if you want to pick those up. And when these are all edited and fancy for you guys, we'll give them to you and you'll have access for life to go through this information at any time of your choosing. All right, so enough for you guys. Hopefully that helps. And we will see you guys in, let's say 14 minutes. We're gonna start probably at 5:30. We're gonna do that for you guys, okay? So good luck on the challenge and we'll be back shortly. Ciao.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining this press briefing. We've got a very special guest we're highly honored to have with us. Dr. Tedros will tell you more.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Margaret. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Less than 6 months ago, WHO and FIFA signed an agreement to work together to promote health through football. We didn't know then what we know now, that a new virus would emerge that would bring many parts of society to a standstill, including the beautiful, beautiful game itself. Many football matches have stopped, but our collaboration has become even more important during these difficult times. In fact, it's given us the opportunity of working together more closely than we imagined with FIFA. Football can reach millions of people, especially younger people, that public health officials cannot. Today, it's my great pleasure to welcome my dear brother, Gianni Infantino, President of FIFA, to talk about our joint campaign to pass the message to kick out coronavirus. I'll repeat that. This is a campaign we're starting jointly called Pass the Message to kick out coronavirus. Pass the message to kick out coronavirus. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank FIFA for its generous contribution of $10 million to the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. Thank you, my brother, for your generous contribution. To date, the fund has raised more than $70 million in just 10 days from more than 187,000 individuals and organizations to help health workers on the front line to do their life-saving work, treat patients, and advance research and treatment and vaccines. I would also like to thank TikTok for its contribution of additional $10 million and for its valuable support in helping to reach its large young audience with reliable health information. Speaking of which, our